Hello again. Today I'm actually going to cover a stock that's a little bit more global reaching, and it does give about a 10 to 11% dividend also. It's also a monthly dividend stock, so stay tuned and I'm going to tell you more here in a second. So anyways, the stock's called Calamos Global Dynamic Income Fund. It's actually CHW on the US NASDAQ. This is just the last 3 years, so beginning in 2016, it was probably about 6.2. Now it's around 7.8. So it's gone up a little bit, but also you get that 10 or 11% dividend. Dividends down here, you can see it's 10.71. All right, so this stock actually, again, this is not actually per se a stock. It's going to be a closed-end fund, so it's going to be a fund that basically does the investing for you. It's going to invest in a lot of different companies. This one's called, obviously, again, the Global Dynamic Income Fund, CHW. Just make sure it's by Calamos. So as of February 24th today, the stock is at about 10.71% dividend. So again, you're going to divide that by 12, and then you get that percentage, 10.71 divided by 12. And then obviously every month you're going to get that percentage. So go ahead and then you can do the math on that, but it's a pretty strong dividend, and we'll talk about why it's important. So this investment's really heavy in the foreign markets. So a lot of our investments I've talked about before were more heavy in the United States or North America. This one's going to have a little bit more wide-reaching, investments. So it has about 40% of its investments always in places outside of the United States or North America. So in this particular case, I can kind of read it, but this stock it's around 21% in Europe. So 21% of its investments are in Europe. About 16.5% in Asia, and only 1.4% in Latin America. Just keep that in mind. So that's basically going to give you the diversity. It's usually going to be about 60% still North America. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a video on a tool that I showed you that was an online tool that would show you put in a stock or an investment, and it would show you how volatile it is basically in a scale. So compared to the general market, was it really risky or was it not that risky? So I'm going to go ahead and put this stock in, and let's take a look, what this tool says it is. Again, you have to take this with a grain of salt because it's not always going to be correct, but it gives you just one more avenue for your own knowledge. So again, I'm going to go ahead and use this tool. Go ahead and check one of my previous videos out. I did give a description of this tool and how to use this. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and put this stock in here. This shows you the relative, how volatile a stock is or how much risk there is involved. And it basically gives you some standards like the S&P 500 is an 81, the NDX is 111, the NASDAQ is 97. So we're going to go ahead and put in CHW in here, and as you can see, it's right here. It's going to be a 93 on this scale. So again, it's pretty stable. It's going to be a little bit more risky than the S&P. It's going to be a little less risky than the NDX. So just keep that in mind, and go ahead and check out one of my previous videos on how to use this tool. So CHW I've actually had for a little time here now, and it's been maybe about 4 or 5 years. The thing about this stock is basically it came out in around 2007, I think, and it really had a huge dip during the financial crisis of 2008. So keep that in mind that it dropped about 30 or 40%. But a lot of stocks did at that time, so it's difficult to say if it was this stock or just the market in general. Since then, though, it's been a pretty good, staying even or up about 5 or 10%. But you also get that 10% to 11% dividend per year, and that's kind of what I basically use this for. It gives me a little bit for investments, and it also gives me about a 10% return on my investment per year. I don't look for the stock to go up that much. I just want to make my money off the dividends. Obviously, if it goes up, that's obviously going to be pretty good for everyone. But at the end of the day, I just really want to have it return that every month, and also diversify my money in these foreign type of stocks. So if you do type in Calamos Investments and you type in CHW, you're going to find this page. This page actually will give you a good, a lot of information about the stock, or I guess the investment portfolio that it uses for this. It's a it's a closed-end fund, a global dynamic income fund. But go ahead and look at this. It does have the performance up here, the pricing, the composition, and this is where I got a lot of the numbers I'm going to talk about. But it does give you what it invests in. It also tells you its top holdings over here, which I'm going to go through in a second, and it also tells you kind of what it's actually investing in as far as stocks and convertible bonds and things like that. Also the countries down here, and then all the regional exposure that you have. And again, this is going to be a little bit more regional exposure on the foreign markets than it is the USA. But go ahead and check this out. I'm not telling you to invest in this. I just want you to do your own research on this, but it does open your eyes for it. So the top holdings of CHW is going to be pretty diversified. So a lot of it has to do with, again, 40% are foreign, but its top holding is only about 3%, which is JP Morgan. So keep that in mind. Alibaba is about 2.5%. Walt Disney, Nestle, Nintendo, those are all about 1.5%. And those all obviously make up part of the investment. And then it has a lot of other investments and other securities and things like that. So you can go ahead and look at it online to see what it's made up of. But I just wanted to let you know it's not like super heavy in one thing. It's got a lot of diversity just built into this type of investment. So with monthly income, it's kind of fun to project your earnings out because every month you're getting paid and then it compounds on each other. So I'll go ahead and put the little example in here. It's kind of fun to watch the examples when you can see your money grow up. Maybe I'll put $50,000 in and I can show you how it'll grow through a couple of years just to see how a stock like this would do if it stayed, if the price stayed the same and you just made that 10% a year dividend, you can see how your money will actually work for you. All right, so really quickly, the dividend is 10.71%. That's your yearly dividend. Let's divide that by 12 months. That's going to give you your monthly dividend, which is a 0.893%. So let's just assume that we had $50,000 in the bank. We were going to times that. And the way to get this is you times it by 1.00893. That's how you'll actually times it. But you'll equal it. So in the first month, you have $50,446 based off just that 1 month dividend. Second month, you're going to have, $50,896. So let's do third month, fourth month, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. So just in 1 year, you're up to $55,629. You can see you made over $5,000 in that dividend. So let's go another year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're at $61,344. So you can see that it basically keeps compounding. So it's kind of just a fun experiment to do. This is, of course, if everything stays the same. There's no guarantees, but just something fun to look at. One more thing about my channel, I do both investing and tech reviews. So again, you have to have money to buy tech, so I like to do both. I also like both. They're kind of both my hobby. So keep an eye on some tech reviews coming out, and then also at the same time, I'm going to do a lot of stocks, bonds, credit cards, flight miles, things like that. Just some kind of fun things to do with the investment side. I'm not a professional investor either, but I'm not telling you to buy any of these stocks, so just keep that in mind. I want you to do your own research. I'm just kind of giving you the opportunity to see some of the ones that a lot of people may not find or not hear about. So go ahead and just watch, and if you like them, obviously you can invest in them. If you don't, don't kill me or beat me up on the on the comments because that's not what we're here for. We just want to basically open people's eyes. Just really quickly, if you do like the videos, please subscribe. It does help me out. I'm just trying to get to the 1,000 subscribers so I can continue.